Hi everybody, this is Juhi Alvi and I'm here and we're going to talk about a topic, and the topic that we're going to talk about is a social story, and the social story that we're going to be talking about is about death and dying. And what I have felt is that these days in the state of Illinois, we have had 1900 deaths, and I just think that it is very hard for our kids to go through the process of death and dying. And two people I knew have passed away. So I just think that this is a really, really hard thing for our kids to understand. So for that purpose, I brought a social story that is on death and dying for our kids. And I wanted to bring this story to you guys, and I'm going to share my screen with you. It's right here. And the name of the story is Grief and Loss, and it talks about grief and loss, and it's a short story to help explain death. And so the first page is: dying is a part of life. Everyone and everything that is living will die someday. Most people do not die until they are very old. When a person dies, the person is no longer alive. A person who dies does not breathe, eat, or go to the bathroom anymore. When a person dies, their body has stopped working and their heart no longer beats. Their heart no longer beats. A person who dies does not play or spend time with family and friends anymore. Death is forever and cannot be changed. Some things may change for a little bit after a person dies, but many things will stay the same after the death. What do you think will change? And this is where you could ask questions to them. Suppose if it's their caretaker, or suppose if it's their grandparent or uncle or aunt who's passed away, you can talk to them about what will change. What do you think will stay the same? So the environment will stay the same, your home will stay the same, your mom and dad will stay the same, but your visits might change to your grandparents' house. It is sad when a person dies. Feeling sad is normal. Sometimes people feel sad because they can't talk or see the person who died ever again. It is important to talk to someone about how you are feeling after someone dies. Grown-ups want to help you feel better. Time will help you feel better. Remembering the person and good memories can sometimes help you feel better. So always go towards good memories, always think about the good stuff. It is okay to feel better. So sometimes, kids do think that, oh, it's not okay to feel better, but it's always good to feel better. So you should get better with time. And really, really cool social story. I got it from Teachers Pay Teachers. This is a great social story that you can go with your kids over death and loss. And it explains death and loss, and it kind of relates it to other things and other objects or other variables in the environment. So you can go over it and you can explain to the children that what happens when a person dies. There's another story that is Death and Dying Social Stories for Students with Autism. The first page is going to a funeral, going to funeral in church, death, and then there are others, but I'm only going to talk to I'm only going to talk about, going to a funeral, and so on and so forth. So this is the, so death of a grandparent. Sometimes grandparents, they become ill. When they become ill, it is scary. They may have to go to a hospital or a nursing home to try and get better. Sometimes they do not get better. Sometimes they do not get better. Dying means that they are not alive. They do not breathe anymore. Dying is forever. When a grandparent dies, I get very sad. I am sad because I will never get to see them or talk to them again. I may cry because I am so sad. I may also get mad because they left me. When I get mad, I may want to be by myself or scream and yell. When I scream and yell, it may make other people sad because they know how much I am hurting inside. Instead of yelling or screaming when I am mad, I will make a positive choice and let an adult know how I feel. What does it mean to be dead? When a person is alive, they breathe and eat. A person who is alive can play, cry, laugh, and think. They have friends and relationships. When a person dies, it means that they are no longer alive. They do not breathe, eat, or feel anymore. Their heart has stopped beating, and other organs, like their brain and kidneys, shut down. After a person dies, there may be a wake or viewing. This is done so people can say goodbye to their loved ones. There is funeral where the person may be buried in a cemetery or they may be cremated. When someone is cremated, it means that their body is burned to ashes. When someone I love dies, it is hard to understand and it makes me sad. I get sad because I will never see them again. When I'm sad, I may not want to see anyone. Instead of getting sad and wanting to be alone, will make a positive choice and try to understand that everyone around me will not die now. Next is going to a funeral. When a person dies, their family may have a funeral service for them. There are different kinds of funeral services. Some families may choose to have their funeral services at a funeral home, where there is a prayer service and viewing of the body. Once the prayer service is done, the dead body is then carried out in a casket. The casket is where the dead person is lying in the buried. The casket goes into the hearse, which is special car. The hearse drives to the cemetery with the help who were at the funeral home following the hearse. Sometimes the funeral home director or a family member may say words about the person's life before the casket is lowered into and around and buried. Being at a funeral is different, and I may cry and be angry. This makes me uncomfortable and I may act out. Instead of acting out, I will make positive choice and talk to an adult and try to understand why I am angry. So if you're going to a funeral in the church, this talks about that when a person dies, their family may go to a funeral service for them. What are the things that do you do in a church? They talk about the casket. They talk about how the body is taken from the casket to the to bury them. What are the different smells? I may also hear the organ being played or people singing. I may get stimulated by the different smells and sounds when I'm overstimulated. I may act loud. I may get fidgety and yell or cry. I have a hard time controlling these things once I'm overstimulated. When I'm overstimulated, this may make people uncomfortable. Instead of yelling in the church, I will make positive choices and ask to leave the church and sit quietly outside with an adult. And so there's another story of death of a pet, because sometimes, we do have death of a pet in the family. And then they talk about positive choices, which is I can talk about my feelings with an adult. I can wear headphones at a church if for the loud noises. I can tell my parents when a smell or noise is bothering me. I can tell my parents I do not feel comfortable going to the casket. I can let an adult know I need space to walk around. I can use my communication device to tell people I am sad, and then I can, according to the behavior of the child, go forward after this. Then there are more positive choices of I can let my family know if I'm not ready to attend a funeral. I can use my communication device to let someone know I need to leave because I'm overstimulated. I can use my communication device to let an adult know if my dress clothes are bothering me. I can use my communication device to use a question about something I do not understand. I can let an adult know how I'm feeling and why I may want to be alone. And I can use my communication device to tell people I lost a family member or a pet and am sad. So these are the things that can be done. And this is like a really, really good way of talking to the kids and talking to them about the social stories. I just think that this is a really, really cool way of going over social stories with the kids about death and dying. And we should talk to the kids about it because they do understand and they do miss the people that are not there anymore. So I do hope that this story was helpful for you guys. Let me know if there are any questions. But this was another social story that I brought for you guys today. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe and healthy. Have a wonderful day.